Welcome back to 5 Minutes to a Better Mix. This is Graham, your host, and we're looking at 31 mixing tips in 31 days. It's been a month-long journey of looking at all aspects of the mix, from big picture philosophical things even down to some things like today, which we're going to look at panning pockets, places you can pan certain things and just squeeze them into little pockets that are open for you. And what I mean is, if you're like me, you like to mix with LCR panning. Now, I don't even want to get into that because for some reason, every time I bring it up, people have a heyday with it. I don't understand why. It's the simplest thing, but if you're interested in that, go watch the round 1 of 5 Minutes to a Better Mix. But what it means is, for the most part, when I do my panning, I pan as if there's just 3 positions to pan, which is kind of the way it used to be on consoles anyway. You didn't have this continuous rotating pan pot. You would have things panned all the way to the left, like if you look here, 100 to the left, right? You'd have things panned up the middle, and you'd have things panned 100 to the right. In a modern DAW or mixing console, of course you could pan anywhere in between. You got the whole spectrum, and that's what I used to do. But I found that I got better mixes by doing 3 pan positions. You get more clarity, more separation. But what that does, and people seem to ask me about this a lot, but that opens up potentially some space in between those hard positions. So around 50, right? So if you've got hard up the middle and hard left, half that distance right in between, and you've got a pocket where if you put something in there, if you put too much in there, you lose the benefit of LCR panning. You start to have a mix that's just, it's washing out, things blend in with the center and the left, and it's just all kind of in there. But that pocket can be great for things like some percussion or some reverb or delay returns, because they're not going to take over the mix. They're not going to be a ton of sound, but they allow some stereo feel, but they're also kind of up the middle a little bit, and they just squeeze in those pockets. So that's exactly what I do. I really put everything up, either LC or R, and then I'll put things like hand percussion and delays on those little panning pockets. So here's an example of a mix where I'm doing that. I just wanted to show you what that might look like. Here's going into a bridge. Tambourine on the 50% on the left, shaker 50% on the right, and then the lead vocals up the middle, but the delay is right here, 40 to the right. So what that does is it opens up, again, these pockets that are wide open for a couple of strategic things to be placed in there. So they're a great spot to put your percussion or your vocal returns on delays or reverbs. So you can do this a couple different ways. You can just pick one. If you have one piece of percussion and put it there. If you have opposing percussion like we did here with the tambourine and the shaker, you can put them opposite each other, and that keeps the drums they're mostly up the middle. So a little bit of separation there. And then the delay can spin and swirl in that fixed location, but it's not quite out on the side where my guitars, my strings, my loops, that kind of thing are living. So it gives you a little bit more separation, a little bit more clarity, and it's a small thing perhaps, but if you have enjoyed LCR panning, maybe you're doing this organically already. But keep in mind that these panning pockets open up, and as you're trying to find a place for that percussion, this could be a great place for it to live. And the reason I bring it up this late in 5 Minutes to a Better Mix is a lot of times when I'm mixing, as I'm wrapping up a mix, I realize, a chorus really needs a piece of percussion that was never recorded. It's just missing that one extra piece of energy. So a lot of times my percussion for tracks that I recorded, or especially for tracks that I'm just mixing, I'll actually lay down some percussion for them as I'm wrapping up a mix, as I realize there's something missing once I've mixed the tracks together. So I find myself, okay, where am I going to fit this percussion now that I've already done my panning, I've already done my mix? Well, with LCR panning, you definitely have those pockets that are a perfect spot for percussion. So a lot of times this is about how far along in the mix I'm actually making these decisions. So anyway, panning pockets, think about it. It might work perfectly in your next mix. Hope that helps. We will see you on tomorrow's video.